name's Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human, but my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things.
I want y'all to listen to this young man. As you saw, he said accountability, which is what I had preached in the previous Monique video, but I'll digress.
My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings were supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then He gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when He told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Now, if anyone should be a victim in this situation, wouldn't it be this young man? Wouldn't he be the biggest victim of this, coming into this world to a mom he didn't ask for? But I have to applaud him. He really has his head on his shoulders properly, because he refuses to even take the victim mentality route. Pay attention to this now. Just pay attention.
I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. Bless her with three other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, not appreciated if she stopped saying stuff like that.
My heart goes out to this young man. Um, as I've said before, and I said it in the last video in regards to our sweet sister Monique. Um, I think I hollered out about why not, instead of crying out to Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, cry out to your child to mend that relationship. Go see your grandchild, um, because the antics, it's just futile. I mean, the thing about me when it comes to burning or destroying a bridge, if you go burn a bridge and destroy it, let it be. But don't try to swim back across the water and you're holding up a lantern and desperately begging for a life preserver. Um, this young man, you could sense the pain in his eyes, in his heart. And this is the making of supervillains in movies. I mean, the mental, what comes to you mentally with not having your mother in your life, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And not only not having your mother, but for your mother to reject your daughter is a bit insane to me. And I would pray that our sweet sister Monique, you know, cries out to mend the relationship with this boy. And I know a lot of you will probably come in the comments and say, well, F the kids and, it's two sides to every story. And you're doing this primarily because you worship celebrity. I don't worship celebrity. I've been doing this for some time now. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. But at the end of the day, it's nothing more important than family to me. And if I have to shut all this down for family, so be it. But this is just really, really sad. My prayers go up to him, to sweet sister Monique, and to Daddy. The young man is even calling her husband Daddy as well, which is it's quite interesting. And I'm sure he doesn't talk to him either. But it's just sad all the way around. And I look at things quite analytically, quite objective. I try to be as objective as possible. It might be some bias in what I say, but I don't feel like it's there. But this crying out, who wrong? When a person, I feel like when a person is always, like when you talk to somebody and it's always an issue and they can never articulate what they did. Because people going to do us wrong in life. Life, you're going to be done wrong. It's going to be quite unfair. But at the end of the day, what did you do? And that's why I'm going to leave that. So prayers up to my sister Monique and her children. And I hope that she is on that, she's able to reconcile with this young man. And it seems like a very nice young man who has his head screwed on straight. But it seems like he has learned to let it go. And he might have had to seek some type of mental health counseling or something just to release, because he was the only child in that relationship. So if this doesn't raise you guys' eyebrow about all of this, I don't know what else will. I will tell you when you come into my comments and you have strong disagreements in my views on your family is more important than celebrity. If you come in my comments saying things I don't really like, I can't wait to block you. So gonna block. That's right. It's just this. You're gonna go into an abyss. So, but anyway, tell them to call me. And once again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks.